New York is blue. Sunday's Hudson River Derby between NYCFC and the New York Red Bulls ended in a 1-0 thriller. Roberto Abramowitz is the NYCFC play-by-play announcer in Spanish, and he's here with us to catch us up on all things City Boys. Now, Roberto, not only did FC end a 3-game losing and goalless streak against the Red Bulls, but it was their first win at Red Bull Arena since June 24th, 2017. I mean, we're talking about the defending MLS champs. How does this rivalry compare to the Subway Series, Islanders, Rangers, and all the other New York sports rivalries?
It's growing. I mean, you can't compare, it's hard to compare, some of the great series and some of the great sports that, have been here forever with soccer, which is growing and all that. But within soccer, and these two teams, they really don't like each other. The fan bases don't really like each other. It's a real rivalry that's just growing. It's starting to get its foot. It's starting to get its foot in the door. I mean, the crowds are always pumped. I'm sad that you weren't able to be there yesterday, but it was a absolutely fantastic atmosphere at Red Bull Arena, which had quite a bit of New York City fans there. And they made it for it to be just a great atmosphere, a great event, and for New York City fans, a great result, winning by winning 1-0. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got a lot of city fans that are friends, and they're inviting me to games. I'm gonna make it to one. I promise you, I'm gonna make it to a couple of those games. But let's talk about Taty Castellanos, because after the final whistle, social media was buzzing that him, the man of the match, has played his final match for NYCFC. So what's the latest on his transfer speculation?
Well, as you know, Taty Castellanos was a leading scorer last year, Golden Boot winner, had 19 goals. He has 13 goals so far this season. He's been absolutely spectacular. He's scored 6 goals in the last 4 games that he's started. So he has been just great, and New York City is going to miss him. So as far as we know, I just spoke with the team before I came on here, and they say that the plans are for Taty Castellanos to be there Saturday when New York City plays Inter Miami at 7 o'clock in Yankee Stadium. Having said that, I've known through my sources that Tati is anxious to be able to leave. He loves the team, he loves his time here, but it's time at 23 years old to emigrate to Europe. And so as far as I know, there are a couple of offers that are supposedly on the table, and we'll see if they're good enough for New York City to be able to accept. One of them is in Netherlands, and one of them is in Spain, as far as I understand.
He can't go until I have a chance to watch him live. So let's talk
better get there on Saturday then.
So let's talk about interim head coach Nick Cushing. He stepped in for Ronnie Dyla. Has he shown enough to the club to make him the full-time manager after this season, or does the club look elsewhere?
So far, so good. I mean, he had a little bit of a rough start, but that's expected when you take over a team in midseason, especially a team that was doing as well as New York City was before they had that 21-day break. So it's hard for everybody, not only for New York City, to come, to start playing again after you haven't played in almost 2/3 of a month. And so I think it took New York City a little time to get going, but as the team is playing now, and if you've watched any of the last games, the team is playing fantastically. They've gone and they've gotten great results on the road. They beat FC Dallas 1-0 for the first time that they've ever won in Frisco, Texas, and now they go back and they beat the Red Bulls. So it's 2 1-0 victories on the road, and that speaks volumes of how good this team is. I mean, they're 1 point behind Philadelphia in the standings. And there's no reason not to think that they can't repeat as champions this year. Obviously, Eber is going to have to step in once Taty Castellanos leaves, and we have to see how New York City is going to handle filling a spot either behind Eber or in front of Eber as far as center forward once Tati does leave.
Roberto, I love the passion. I got to get out to a game really soon, and thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.